With net neutrality rules dead in America, thanks to Ajit Pai, the Republican Party, and giant donors like Comcast, Americans will be looking forward to slower speeds, blocked sites, throttles, and costly fast lanes, perhaps within the next few years. It's not going to happen all at once, obviously, but these things will likely happen in a longer period of time, in a longer time frame. Now, in Europe, interestingly enough, they happen to be going in the opposite direction. According to The Guardian, the British government has made a decision where it is said that it will now guarantee a legal right to high-speed internet for all homes and businesses in the UK by the year 2020. That is not very far away. Now, the UK's Government of Digital Culture, Media and Sport has committed to giving homes and businesses, regardless of location, that's very important, the right to demand internet speeds of at least 10 megabits per second, The Guardian reported on Wednesday. Now, that's not super fast, but it's also not super slow either. Now, the UK's proposed regulation will move to close the internet gaps between cities and rural areas. So while they're trying to expand broadband here in America, we're actually restricting it. We're making sure that, hey, if you want municipal broadband in Tennessee, for example, or Kentucky, sorry, you're not going to do that. We're going to give you one option, and if broadband doesn't reach in your area, sad day for you. Yeah, that's what's going on, man. But now, the head of the department, right, Digital Minister Matt Hancock, which, by the way, that's kind of cool. I want to be a digital minister. He told BBC Radio 4 that the new provision would not mean that all homes would automatically receive faster speeds, but of course you would have at least the legal right to demand it. So basically what you would have to do is you'd be like, I don't have fast internet here. The private companies don't service this area with high-speed internet. So I invoke my right to demand that they come out here, and the companies are like, well, we have to. It's government order, so we're going to have to build out that infrastructure to actually offer broadband in that area since it has been demanded by enough people. So the companies cannot refuse. Now, he said, quote, it's about having the right to demand it. It's an on-demand program. If you don't go on the internet and aren't interested, then you won't phone up and demand this. So basically he's saying, look, if you don't want fast internet, okay, you don't have to have it. But if you do want it, then yes, you have a right to call us up and say, I demand to have internet. Okay, great. Now, the UK government will affect all internet service providers, requiring them to provide faster internet to anybody who demands it. So that's fairly clear. Now, BT is one of their biggest internet providers, did tell the government that, oh, no, why do you have to legislate it into law when we will voluntarily do this? It sounds a lot like our cable companies or ISPs here in America. No, you don't have to legislate us on net neutrality. No, we volunteer to do everything that net neutrality promises. We promise not to slow down or block or throttle. No, so you don't need net neutrality. You don't have to put these rules into law. Well, then why are you arguing against it if you're already going to do it? You should just be like, okay, yeah, we plan on doing that anyway. That's fine. No, it's because they don't actually want to do it. So here's the British government's response. No, you will have to do it. It is a legal, it's a legal requirement. We reject your plea, your argument. You know why? It's because they actually have a stronger government than we do. I know. They're saying, and BT is like, no, you don't have to do this, okay? Like, you don't have to make it a requirement. The British government's like, did I fucking stutter? It is a requirement. You must do this. God, I would love to live in a place where we actually have a government that stands up to the corporations. We do not have that here. In America, the government says, oh, okay, hey, look, we would like to make this a requirement. And the corporations basically go, don't care. Oh, by the way, here's giant fat sacks of cash. And the government says, oh, well, you have convinced me We will not make this a requirement after all. We believe you. We believe that you have the best interest of the consumer in mind. This is why America, by the way, is going backwards instead of forwards, instead of having progress. The UK, for example, the UK has universal healthcare, right? They actually have more affordable college education. It's not free like it used to be, right? They've got their own issues with privatization going on, and they're absolutely not perfect. No country actually is, but the whole point is that they're not nearly as bad as what we have in the United States of America at this point. Okay. The UK has a stronger government than we do here in America. We have an incredibly weak, corrupt government, and while it may not be up to the standards of other countries, it certainly is better than what we have in the United States. Now, anyway, so as far as net neutrality is concerned, now this is interesting, right? Net neutrality in Europe and the UK is currently enacted under the European Union regulations. So they have net neutrality. We do not. Now, what does that mean after Brexit? I have no idea. My guess is, based on the push to require high-speed internet to be installed in the event that people demand it, and the fact that they have far more competition in the markets, I'm thinking they probably have or will enact their own set of net neutrality regulations. That's my guess. Now, you might be fooled into thinking that people of Europe, especially in the UK, but in other places, since they have these net neutrality regulations, stronger governments, well, you might be fooled into thinking that you're paying, or that they're probably paying far more for their internet access. Well, in the UK, in order to get broadband comparable to what is offered in the United States, how much does it cost? You can pay as little for broadband as $6 a month. Now, this doesn't mean it's going to be super fast. It's going to be faster than dial-up, right? But $6 for what? 10 megabits per second download? Not bad. Not bad. You can't even get dial-up for that amount of money per month. Now, if you want broadband bundled with phone and television, the average cost is about 40 euros. That translates into about $56. Again, that's a bundle. A bundle. Now, my cable bill, for example, I pay $93 for 60 megabit per second download. And it's far slower on the upload, by the way. I think I have like a 12 megabit upload speed. That's disastrous. Why am I paying twice as much for comparable speed? It doesn't make any sense. Our internet speeds rank far below all other European countries, even countries like Greece, who are on the slower end of Europe. So we have slower and more expensive internet than fucking Greece. Come on. You know who has some of the fastest internet in the world? That would be Sweden. Of course. The Nordic countries are always kicking our ass and everything. The UK is ranked 11th in speed. And look, they've had a lot of problems. They're actually starting to catch up now. And how are they catching up? They're actually using government regulation. I know, shock, horror. They have government rules. They have government that actually forces competition. Now, in over half of America, one of our biggest problems with ISPs is that they don't have any competition. So they can charge whatever they want, and they can have speeds that are incredibly slow. And it's because, again, we don't have a government that comes in and forces us to actually have competition. Now, conservatives think that progressives want government to solve every problem. They think that we believe that government solves every single problem. No, we don't think that it solves every single problem. A lot of us do believe in a market that is regulated, and all regulations is just a framework of rules that make sure that that these companies can't screw over their customers, right? So, but in this case, that's exactly what we need. Now, thanks to the UK government, there is actually some healthy competition, and that's actually better for consumers. Okay. Now, the internet there is faster and it is cheaper, while ours, with no government interference and no regulations, happens to be super slow and far more expensive. And now the government also has decided to guarantee broadband to everybody, while huge parts of our country do not have options for broadband because it's too far out of their way. No, it'd be too expensive to bring broadband to this rural community in Alabama. So you're stuck with 56K. You're stuck with dial-up. Sorry, it's too expensive for us. Well, if they were in the UK, or if we had UK's rules, those companies would have to go out there anyway. And again, we would have more competition because the government could force competition. So if anything makes the case that we need stronger regulations, that we actually do need a government that's representative of the will of the people, it would be situations like this. When we compare ourselves to other countries who are doing far better when it comes to internet access, there's no way we can compete because we've got the rules set up in the corporation's favor. We've got to change that, and we've got to, in my opinion, make sure that declare that internet, that broadband is a right. Access to information is a right, a human right. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.